The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey there, everybody. It's David here, and the amazing Bob Bly is here.
It's my pleasure to be here, David. This is a subject near and dear to my heart, and everybody can know more about it, and I can't wait to learn more about it from you.
And just to make sure that folks are hearing and seeing everything the way they need to be, you should be looking at the title slide, and you should be hearing Bob's voice and my voice loud and clear. If that's the case, do us a huge favor and just type the word yes in the question box. And we'll see if we have the little AV check here to make sure that everything's coming across loud and clear for you. And let's look at the question box. So Tripp and Eric and Thomas and Douglas and John and Mark and Joyce, tremendous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where are people dialing in from? Bob and I were just talking before we flipped the microphones on about we got New Jersey in the house, we got Philadelphia, which is where I am. Where are people tuning in from? Just pop that in the question box as well, and we'll just do a little global/national reporting in. Palm Springs, wow, very nice, beautiful. Iowa, Kennebunk, Maine, Bonn, Germany, I love it. Virginia and Northern Ohio, and beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. Those are the first batch of answers coming in. Very nice. So we truly have a global community here, or at least two countries. Does that count as global? I think it might.
Oh, this counts as global.
Totally. And then we have Central California, Gilbert, Arizona, Brooklyn, New York, a country unto itself.
It is. It's people don't realize how huge it is in terms of acreage.
It's true. I used to live in Brooklyn for about 4 years back in the 1980s. Well, it's the top of the hour. I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Bob Bly for our intro.
So welcome, guys. This is the Expert Profit Formula with David Newman, our expert in how to launch or relaunch your expert business in turbulent times. First, let me tell you a little bit about David, and then a little bit about the importance of his topic. David Newman, CSP, is a member of the National Speakers Association $1 Million Speakers Group. He is the author of the business bestsellers Do It Marketing and Do It Speaking. Do It Marketing and Do It Speaking. 77 instant action ideas to market, monetize, and maximize your expertise, which is the subtitle of the speaking book. HarperCollins published it in 2020. David is also the creator of the Expert Profit Formula, and it's a mentoring program where he helps thought leaders market their smarts, their intellectual property, and make a bigger dent in the universe. That's exactly what David is about to do for you. And today, expert-based marketing is more important than ever. People want to do business with the person or the company they consider the expert in the industry, the field, or niche. And David shows you how to present yourself as that number one thought leader, and then how to I hate the word monetize, but how to use it to build your reputation, your client base, and your revenues. So David, welcome, and I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate you. Well, let's get right to our game plan here for today. And I do want to acknowledge the elephant in the room and the elephant in the universe, and the elephant in the world, which is, of course, that at the same time we're doing all of the things that Bob mentioned, we're also dealing with the COVID-19 business landscape, and that really has made some permanent and profound changes in the way that the business world operates. And I'm talking about way beyond canceled and postponed events and having to do things more virtually and more remotely. I'm talking about the way that people perceive value and the way that people perceive trusted advisors and copywriters and marketers and experts and any sort of thought-leading entrepreneur has to shift their value proposition and their delivery modes and their target market and their messaging and packaging and positioning, because the world as we knew it back in January and February of 2020 is completely gone and completely transformed. And we're dealing with a lot of instability and uncertainty. But the idea here, and for the next little bit of time, what we're going to focus on is how in this environment, in this context, in this situation that we're in, you as an expert and as a consultant, as a thought-leading entrepreneur, you can still win. You can still win. We do not need to wait for things to get back to quote unquote normal, whatever that means and whenever that may or may not happen. So think of this like the Matrix. And the operative word, of course, that kicks off the premise of that movie is you can take the blue pill or you can take the red pill. Take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. Oh, COVID-19, it's going to pass. I'm just going to hide under my desk until that happens. I'm sure everything will come back to normal, etc. Option one. Option two, you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. So this entire webinar, this entire masterclass, I'm going to be offering you the red pill and how to not only survive, but how to possibly come out of this pandemic better, stronger, and more profitable than when you came in. And that is our goal for you. So we have recent success stories. This is not success stories from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or even 7 or 8 months ago. This is recently in the last week or two. And our client Ray racked up $16,200 of new business. He got $4,200 from one program, and then he signed up more people for $12,000. The interesting thing is that Ray's story hinges on the mantra, go before you're ready. Go before you're ready, or sell it before it exists. And he says, neither of those two programs existed when I was paid for them. So this is the time to reinvent, try new offers, try new value propositions, put new things out into the marketplace that you may have never put out before, because your clients need those things right now, and your prospects need and want those things right now. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to talk about how to avoid dumb mistakes when moving your business online. I'm going to be dropping lots of truth bombs and some uncomfortable realities on you to help you, get into this new now. I hate the term new normal, because there's nothing normal about what we're going through, but it is the new now. It's the new present moment that we need to navigate and to succeed in. Do that, and your value goes up, your impact goes up, and your profitability goes up. As Bob mentioned in my introduction, we're also here to help you make a bigger dent in the gosh darn universe so you can have more visibility, more credibility, more impact, and help the clients that you're meant to help and serve the clients that you're meant to serve. And then we'll also talk about some next steps to help you make it happen. I'm also going to stick around, and Bob's going to stick around for our big Q&A at the end. So hold the questions, jot down the questions. I will stay here until I outnumber you. And all of today's teaching, all of today's training, I am happy to answer specific questions as it relates to you and your particular business. Now, 3 COVID-19 stories from the last few months. I worked with a keynote speaker who was doing pretty great at the time, about $60,000 a month of keynote-driven business as a speaker, as a professional speaker, taken down to $0 in less than 10 days. Lots and lots of gigs canceled off the calendar. Consultants, we work with a lot of consultants. We had one particular guy who had $200,000 of consulting contracts on hold indefinitely, with all payments suspended because their clients just totally went into emergency reactive mode, hair on fire, crazy town. And we're going to talk about how to market to people who are hair on fire in the middle of crazy town. Third client of ours, primarily corporate coaching, big company, Fortune 500 corporate coaching, 3 corporate coaching agreements at $8,000 per month each. evaporate in 72 hours. So that was $24,000 of monthly recurring revenue that just went bye-bye. So this is the kind of thing that people are dealing with in the expert industry and the coaching industry and the consulting industry. The problem is that this uncertainty and this pandemic is here to stay. Microsoft announced that they're doing all digital events at least through July of 2021. Microsoft, of course, in case you don't know, let me just go back a quick sec, one of the world's largest companies, of course, and they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of meetings, internal meetings, external meetings, channel partner meetings, management meetings, sales meetings, customer meetings. So for a huge meeting-focused company like Microsoft to say, nope, nothing in person till July of 21. In the meetings industry and the convention business and the training business, there are articles out there like Beaten Down but Eyeing Innovation. There is from MPI, from Meeting Professionals International, there is a confidence index about how they think things are panning out, very uncomfortable in the 60s and 70s and 80% margins of doing any of these things. Domestic air travel, God forbid you get on a cruise ship, staying in a hotel, indoor events, outdoor events, dining at a buffet, working a trade show floor, shaking hands even, going to a networking reception. All these things are red light, red light, red light, red light. Summer of 2020, they did a Outlook report, MPI, and I'll show you how to get your hands on this research here a little bit later on. The most pessimistic or the most negative response in this survey's history, 59%, this is summer of 2020, 59% of the respondents to this MPI survey said that they predict a negative set of business conditions going into the future. That is the highest negative number in the history of this survey, and they've been doing this survey for 20 plus years. Morgan Stanley released a timeline for return to work. This was earlier in the summer. They said initial back to normal in August, which by the way didn't happen, but they're also forecasting a second wave of contagion beginning of November of 2021. So like I said, this is here to stay. We have to take advantage of the new now. We can't hide, we can't delay, we can't defer. We have to be successful now, and we have to learn how to make money now under these new conditions. The 4 keys that we're going to focus on for our time together today, number 1, talking about what you do, articulation and distinction. Finally, feeling comfortable knowing who you serve and what problems you solve, and how to talk about it so that prospects want to buy. That level of clarity. Number 2 is how do you do it? What are the steps and the structure and the kind of support to help you make key strategic decisions? So if you are stuck or you are a little bit paralyzed in your business right now because of the external conditions, how to replace confused stuckness with action and results. Third big mystery in the current environment, hair on fire clients, hair on fire prospects, everyone's in emergency hunker down mode. Where do we find premium clients who are not only willing to pay premium fees, not only able to pay premium fees, but expecting to pay premium fees? Let me repeat that, because this blows people's minds sometimes. The best clients that you will ever work with, they're not only willing to pay your high fees, they're not only able to pay your high fees, they are expecting to pay high fees. Otherwise, they start to have doubts about your credibility. So how do you build a high fee client getting plan that you'll love? And then the fourth key that we're going to unlock is how can you diversify your profit centers? What else can you do? How can you unlock more revenue with new distribution methods for your current expertise and create what we call a profit-rich integrated product suite? The best way I know how to explain this to you is look at Apple Computer. Apple Computer has a beautiful integrated product suite. If you have an iPhone and you want to get a tablet, you're much more likely to get the iPad because the iPad works better with the iPhone. Once you have the iPhone and the iPad, now it's time to get a computer. You're probably going to get a MacBook computer because that works better with your iPad and your iPhone. So how all of your profit centers make sense together and how they actually work better together so that people want to buy, they want to repeat, they want to upgrade, and they want to keep going up and up your product and service ladder. So those are the 4 key things. Now, I promised you some truth bombs. In the speaking and training world, we have this thing called a certified virtual presenter, and everyone over the last few months has been rushing to get their certified virtual presenter logo on their website and on their training website and on their materials and all this other kind of stuff. Here's the mantra, my friends. Whenever you go where everyone else is going, whenever you follow the herd like this, you lose. So screenshot this, make a poster, put it up in your office. Whenever you go where everyone else is going, you lose. So people would say, for example, well, if you're a copywriter, you're a marketing consultant, you're a sales trainer, you should go to all of your industry trade shows back when we had industry trade shows, and we're not doing this right now. But the common advice is get a booth, make some relationships, walk home with a whole bunch of leads. This makes you a commodity. You are voluntarily commoditizing yourself when you do this. And I want you to compare this with my friend Mark Levy. Mark Levy is a brilliant positioning consultant, and he runs a company called Levy Innovation, and his business is positioning and differentiation for experts, for executives, and for brands. And this is how Mark works a trade show. Mark will never, ever get a trade show booth. He meets people and he sits them down in the lobby for one-on-one conversations. And this one-on-one conversation will lead to hundreds of thousands of dollars of business. Over the course of a 3-day event, he might do 8, 10, 12 of these one-on-one meetings in the lobby, in the restaurant, in the bar, in the hallway. And this is how he develops business. Way more than getting a trade show booth and self-commoditizing your services. So when Mark and I worked together, he says, recently when I needed guidance where hundreds of thousands of dollars of potential business was in front of me, I knew to call one guy for help, David Newman. Run, don't walk to grab a spot at David's next event or hire him privately. You can't afford not to. So here you are. Congratulations. You have just walked in, courtesy of our mutual friend, Bob Bly. You are at my next event. This is the event that Mark was talking about. So I'm very glad about that. But think about what are some ways that you're following the herd, that you're doing what everyone else is doing during this pandemic, and you are unintentionally commoditizing yourself. And then stop doing those things and figure out how you can zig where everyone else wants to zag, or the impulse is for everyone else to zag, but you're going to go in a different direction. You're going to tackle it in a different way. Because this pandemic has thrown every one of us a curveball, we're on a GPS, we think we have our destination, and all of a sudden you hear that little GPS voice say, recalculating, which means, uh-oh, you missed the turn. Well, many of us, my friends, missed the turn, took a left where we should have taken a right, or just got bushwhacked and ambushed into some dead ends. We need to do some serious recalculating on your business model, on your service model, and on your revenue model, and that's what we're doing today. So, first step is decide who you are now in the new situation that we find ourselves in. And this may mean shifting your business, shifting your services, shifting your value prop, shifting your buyers, shifting your buyer level, shifting the outcomes that you deliver, because all those things have changed. So 3 circles. Circle number 1, what are you passionate about? What are your talents and gifts and abilities that you just love to do? Circle number 2, who are you passionate about? Target market, a very specific defined buyer persona of people that you want to work with, love to work with, your best clients, your favorite clients. And then think about the 3rd circle, which is for those people in circle number 2, what are they passionate to learn, do, or become? What are they passionate to learn, do, or become? And that's the business that we need to be in. So generally, I like to ask my clients 3 questions. Question number 1, what business are you in? And they tell me, I'm a marketer, I'm a copywriter, I'm a sales trainer, I'm a leadership coach, whatever it is. Number 2, What business are you really in? And then that gets to the outcomes and the results of their work. Then I ask them a third question, which is really kind of a profound shift, and some good thinking comes out of it. What business do your clients need you to be in? So I'll repeat those three questions. You can write them down. Number one, what business are you in? Number two, what business are you really in? Number three, what business do your clients now, today, what business do your clients need you to be in? And that's going to be the key to unlock whole new levels of demand and interest and inbound activity in your business. Second way to look at this is, let's use the process of elimination. Who's not for you? Who would you absolutely never want as a client, never do business with? Think of this like a transplant where there's organ rejection, right? They're just not your people. They're not your personality. They don't share your values. They don't share your behaviors. They don't share your characteristics. For some people, they say, well, I would never work for a tobacco company. Okay, fine. Some other people say, I would never work with people who are arrogant, complacent, or entitled. And that kind of person, that kind of industry that's predominantly arrogant, complacent, and entitled, never going to do work with them again. So figure out who is not for you, who doesn't qualify to work with your genius, who doesn't qualify to benefit from your expertise. And then think about this question. As you're shifting your business, either proactively or reactively because you have to, are you simply revamping, meaning some things that used to happen offline now happen online? If that's the case, you're at risk. What I would rather have you do is reinvent your business model, your business strategy, your market, meaning the industries, the buyers, and the buyer levels, which we talked about a moment ago, and your message, meaning the value, the relevance, and the urgency of hiring you. Because if you're working on 2, 3, and 4, you are in full-blown reinvention mode, and that is where your next level of success is waiting. If you're simply revamping or tweaking or rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, pick the metaphor of your choice, you are truly at risk. So you do not want to be going into this crazy, turbulent, upside down, COVID crazy environment and say, hey, we're doing the same things like before, except now it's on Zoom instead of in person. Or now it's virtual instead of at a meeting or in a training room or at a seminar. So do not revamp. I'm going to invite you, and I am inviting you right now, to go into full-blown reinvention mode, because that's where these quantum leaps can be found. And that's how you're going to exit this pandemic situation better, stronger, and smarter and richer than you came in. So look at this as a business reinvention and a major, major upgrade opportunity, not as an obstacle. I'm just going to take a quick little drink here. I'm getting so excited. If you're having a good time here, if you're having a good time with me, just type good. Just type good in the question box while I take 2 sips of my little mango beverage here. Yes, even webinar presenters need a little love as they're taking a quick sip. There we go. Beautiful. Thank you. That's great. Those responses are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's look at the benefits of revamping your model, your market, and your message. 3 thundering truths. Number 1, the more your services are in demand, the easier it is to sell in spite of yourself. If you're one of these folks that says, you know, I love the work of my work, I just really don't like the sales part. I don't like the selling part. I'm not good at sales. I don't like sales. Type in the word sales in the question box. Type in the word sales if sales is your least favorite thing, because this should be really, really good news for folks. The more that you can shift your services so that they are in demand, the easier it is to sell in spite of yourself. Meaning, I'm not a great salesperson. I don't like all the old school sales tricks and manipulation and nonsense. And by the way, the old school sales tricks and manipulation and nonsense don't work anyway. So if you've been using those, of course it's not working. But yeah, so a lot of people are not loving the sales process because it's either been done to you in a bad way or you've learned it in a bad way that doesn't feel organic, doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel natural. Second big benefit, the better you are at client selection, the worse you can be at everything else, including your main service. Now, I want to stop there and have you think about that for a minute. The better you are at client selection, picking the best clients, the great clients, the clients who are willing, able, who say, how high when you say jump. Those clients will get better outcomes, even with a mediocre consultant, than the worst clients will with the best consultant. So you want clients who are willing, able, ready, motivated, serious, and committed to getting the outcomes. You do that if you're great at client selection and you have an invitation or an application-based client selection process, the worse you can be at everything else. Not that you're not great at what you do, but you can take the pressure off yourself that everything always has to be perfect, because with a great client, everything does not always have to be perfect. 3, when you dial this in the right way with your model, your market, and your message, beyond that, it's just a math problem. What that means is that suddenly adding $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, or $30,000 a month of new incremental revenue, that just becomes a math problem, right? Price times quantity equals total. How much of which new service do you want to sell per month? So if you say, well, I'm going to come up with a new $5,000 coaching package, and I want to add $10,000 a month to my revenue almost right away, the answer is, well, you got to sell 2. You got to find and connect and open conversations with 2 fantastic people who will ultimately say yes to your $5,000 offer. So sell 2 of those a month, that's $10K. If you want to sell 4, that's $20K. You get the idea. So just keep on adjusting the numbers. Price times quantity equals total. The math problem is easy to solve. It's the marketing and the sales and the positioning and the packaging that gets you those sales conversations. That might be a little bit trickier, but we're going to have some things to help you with that as well. So let's start talking about some nitty-gritty fee mistakes, because one of the things I promised you is that we're going to talk about fees and money, and we are going to talk about fees and money. So 3 scary fee mistakes. Number 1, I don't know what to charge. If you've ever looked at a project or looked at a program or looked at a piece of copywriting work, marketing work, sales work, consulting work, coaching work, training day, seminar, and said, wow, I really don't know what to charge for this, type in a 1, because we're going to have 3 problems here. I'd love for folks just as we go through. So this is problem number 1, is that sometimes I honestly don't know what to charge. Type in a 1 if that's you. Number 2, I know I charge too little. I just know. I know I'm underpricing, undercharging, and thus under-earning, but if I charge any more, my clients won't pay. If I charge any more, these clients will say, no way, I'm out of here, I'm finding someone cheaper. So that's number 2. Type in a 2 in the question box if you've sometimes felt this way, that you know what you should be charging, you're just not charging it, and you're charging too little. So you're underpricing and under-earning. Number 3 is, no matter what I charge, I always end up caving. I always end up, they want to negotiate, they want to bargain, they want to chip away my profit margin, they want to chip away at my price. Starts out at 5,000, I always end up at 2,000 or 2,500 or 3,000 or whatever the number is. So this is problem number 3. Please type 3 in the question box if you find yourself caving on price. And even though you present the price that you would like to get, you don't often enough get the price that you quote. You don't often enough get the price that you quote. So yeah, obviously we're not alone. We're not alone on any of these things. We got lots of 1s and 1s and 1s and 2s and 2s and 2s and 3s and 3s and 3s. So yes, thank you for being honest and vulnerable about those things, because obviously in order for us to fix those things, we have to face those things, right? We have to fix those things. We have to face those things and realize, okay, this is a habit. This is a self-commoditizing, self-limiting behavior that I really need to stop. Now, so we just answered which is yours. Here's the big aha. Fees are not random. Fees, most consultants, most experts, most copywriters, most marketers, they don't just pull numbers out of thin air. fees reflect reality. Fees reflect reality. And the biggest myth that I want to bust for you right now is this concept that my fee is dependent on their budget. My friends, your fee should never be dependent on their budget. Your fee should never be dependent on their budget. The fee is based on the value, the impact, the results, and the outcomes of the value that you deliver. And if you're in touch with that, then the fee is the fee is the fee, period, end of sentence. And here's another truth bomb. If you're having trouble with what we just worked on, don't change your fees. Don't lower your fees. Don't cave on the price. Don't change your fees. You know what you need to do? Change your clients. Change your clients or change your prospects, because you will never turn a Walmart shopper into a Nordstrom's customer. If you've experienced this in your business, I want to hear an amen. Let's put an amen in the question box. That if you're running into this obstacle with a very price sensitive audience, don't change your fees. Change your clients. Go fishing in bigger, better ponds with bigger, better bait to help solve bigger, better problems. And the mantra is solve bigger problems, get bigger checks, because you will never turn a Walmart shopper into a Nordstrom's customer. So if I can get an amen on that, that would be beautiful. And Kyle is on board, and Mark, and Sharon, and Catherine. Yes, yes, yes. Totally. Totally wonderful. All right, thank you. I'm glad we have some experience with that. I'll tell you, when I started out, and I started my business back in 2002, I made every mistake in the book. I made the good ones twice. The first thing I did, truly, one of the first things I did is I signed up for our friend Bob Bly's newsletter, and I bought a couple of his books, including the copywriting book and the How to Become an Expert in 60 Days book, both of which are still brilliant. Lost classics if you haven't read them. So thank you, Bob, for getting my head screwed on straight early on, even though I was lost and very lost on a lot of other things. But this is where I started. And I think a lot of people start this way, or when they're thrown a curveball by the economy or by the kind of global environment that we're in, it's easy to get lost like back when we started. So another truth bomb for you is we need to stop defining your value with your methods. In other words, stop defining your value with your inputs. Coaching is an input, copywriting is an input, a virtual keynote speech is an input, an online course is an input. Focus on value, impact, results, and outcomes, plus the emotional benefit, the emotional payoff of achieving those outcomes. I use this little acronym here, VIRO plus E. VIRO plus E simply stands for value, impact, results, outcomes, plus the emotional payoff of achieving those outcomes, because that's what we deliver. And that's what we should charge for. And that is always worth a far more premium fee than our inputs. And hey, it's a 90-day coaching package. It's a 60-minute virtual keynote. It's a 12-module online course, etc. Those things are commodities where outcomes are sources of genuine value. Now, if you want to increase your impact in the world, as for prospecting, for lead generation, we need to earn attention from our target market, which right now, when we talked about hair on fire, crazy, busy, preoccupied, panicked prospects and clients, and at this point, they're probably even beyond panicked and hair on fire. Now they're kind of shell-shocked and sort of stuck like a deer in the headlights saying, when will this crazy thing ever end? But we need to be a source of value, because we're living in an attention economy, which means first we have to earn their attention before we ever get a chance to earn their money. One of the best ways to do that is with what I call Happy Meal marketing. So when clients buy from you, they get a beautiful 7-course meal, white tablecloth, silverware, 3 kinds of wine glasses, 4 different kinds of forks. But even people who don't buy from you should always get a Happy Meal. So what does that mean? That means that they should be better off just by having experienced your marketing material. So when you get a Bob Bly newsletter, you're getting tremendous value from Bob even before you buy a single thing. When you're on a Facebook Live and you're getting great value from that person with no money changing hands, when you read someone's blog and you get great ideas, motivation, inspiration, tactics, actions, all kinds of things, All of these are sources of happy meal marketing. When you're on a webinar like this, hopefully you're getting value. And this is my version of happy meal marketing, right? Where we give, we open, we invite, and we provide value. So happy meal marketing is the concept that people are better off just because they experienced your marketing even before they buy. So the people who buy get the whole beautiful enchilada. The people who don't buy are still better off. And what that means is nobody leaves hungry. Nobody leaves hungry. Because if you practice happy meal marketing, those people that keep getting those happy meals from you, they will come back. And they will come into the white tablecloth restaurant with the 4 kinds of silverware and the 3 wine glasses and the beautiful bone china. They might not be ready right now, but they will come back when they're ready if you keep up this practice of happy meal marketing, which is, again, part of this invitation, offer value, invite engagement type of marketing that we're talking about. Now, as far as standing out in your industry, this sounds silly. It sounds like a wise guy piece of advice, but if you want to stand out, stand out. That means take a stand on your topic. Be bold, be opinionated, be contrarian. Don't be afraid to share your biases, your slant, your personal and or client experiences with what's right with the world, what's wrong with the world, what's really going on, what are some myths and truths, what's some BS that's out there in your industry or in your target market that you're here to be the BS eliminator. Because my friends, the web doesn't need more plain vanilla information. Doesn't need more information from you, doesn't need more information from me. What prospects are really hungry for are specific insights, guidance, and help that they cannot get elsewhere. So if I Google something about marketing or sales or leadership or growing my career or parenting or wellness or personal finances, there is no shortage of information out there. What I want is I want someone with a voice. I want someone with an opinion. I want someone that has a slant, a bias, recommendations, specific things to do, specific things not to do. Think about this. If you don't stand for something, you can't stand against something, right? And this is the classic hero's journey, good versus evil, the good guys in the white hats, the bad guys in the black hats. You cannot be a good guy in a white hat or a good gal in a white hat if you don't point out who are the bad guys, who's the villain in the story, who's the enemy, what are you against? So for example, in my world, when people say, oh, David, you're a marketing consultant. Well, I really hate marketing, and I'll tell you why. I hate cold calls. And they equate the word marketing with cold calls. So in all of my books and all of my coaching and all of my training programs, I have a huge anti-cold calling stance. I say, if you're cold calling, you're doing one of the most idiotic things you can possibly do. Number one, it's not working. Number two, it's pissing off every single person you ever talk to, so they will never do business with you. So what are you for and what are you against? And stand for that publicly. Don't just say, oh, I always tell my clients, you shouldn't cold call. This should be on your blog. This should be in your email newsletters. This should be on your Facebook Lives. This should be on your YouTube channel. This should be broadcast loud and proud from the top of your castle, because that's where you live, and you need people to know where you stand on some of these topics so that your voice stands out head and shoulders above the crowd. If you haven't picked up yet where I'm going with this, I feel that every expert, every entrepreneur of their expertise, their main job is a professional irritant. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're irritating as a personality, but it means that you're kind of rubbing the status quo. You're changing. You're a catalyst. You're a change agent. Kind of like the little grit of sand makes the pearl inside the oyster, right? No grit, no sand, no oyster. And an oyster has value. The pearl inside the oyster, rather, has value. So as a professional irritant, I am giving you license. I am giving you permission to speak your mind, stand for what you stand for, stand against what you stand against, and do it loud and proud and publicly, or loudly and proudly and publicly if we were to use correct grammar. So as a professional irritant, here's the bottom line truth. If you don't risk turning some people off, you will never turn anybody on. People that play it safe lose, always. People that play it safe in their marketing, play it safe in their marketplace, play it safe in their client communication, they blend in and they fade away. So if you want to really make your mark in the world, especially today in this COVID crazy upside down environment, if you don't risk turning some people off, you will never turn anybody on. I don't know if you know this or not everybody loves me. I know it's weird. And what's even weirder is not everyone loves our friend Bob. Bob has sometimes been even called the C word. The C word is curmudgeon. And I think he loves it, and he cultivates it, and he's proud of it. And it is part of his brand and part of who he is and part of why he's so valuable and so darn brilliant, because he doesn't care if you like what he has to say. He just knows that he's right. He just knows that what he stands for and what he says and what he advises his clients will work. It will work whether they like it or not, whether they agree with it or not. So if you're not willing to be like Bob, if you're not willing to be a little bit like me in this way, the risk is that you fade out of sight. You fade back and you do not win any attention, any leads, any prospects, or any sales. And you have to work really hard to get out of that commoditized pool of sameness. And we don't want you in the commoditized pool of sameness. It is really sad. I'm going to take a drink. And Bob, feel free to address that curmudgeon comment, if you will, because I know you get a little bit of wry enjoyment out of it.
But I want to switch it to what you said, which is more, and I am a curmudgeon, but even more so contrarian. And the reason contrarian works is that there's a formula by my friend Robert Gilbert, who's a speaker. I don't know if you know him. And it's the formula is SWL plus SWL equals SW. And he says, some will like you, your attitude, your opinions, your product, your service. Some won't like you, your attitude, your opinion, or attitude and service equals so what? The mistake that people make is they try to please everybody. And when you're contrarian, you repel the people who wouldn't be good customers or clients anyway for you, because they'll fight you every step of the way. They don't believe in what you do.
Right.
And you attract the ones who believe in what you do and share your opinion and philosophy, and they'll love what you do for them.
Perfect. Exactly right. Could not have said it better. Exactly spot on. All right. Now, good news for everyone on this call. Does the marketplace still need what you do? Is there still a need today in this new now for leadership, strategy, innovation, diversity, teamwork, copywriting, employee engagement, culture, sales, marketing, presentation skills, work-life balance, retention, recruiting, change, resilience, happiness, careers, finance, health, wellness, technology, future? You want the short answer? The short answer to do they still need all of these things is a resounding yes. They still need all of these things. Are they buying it in the same way that they did back in January of 2020? No. Have their priorities changed? Yes. Have their circumstances and the context of how and where and why they need these things, has that changed? Yes. So do we need to market and write copy and do messaging that is in tune with their new reality? Again, the answer is yes. So let's talk about how to do that. Your content is absolutely needed. I would even argue it's needed now more than ever. The old context, however, is gone. Old context, January, February 2020, we left that in the rearview mirror a long time ago. So we cannot ignore the new reality that our prospects find themselves in. And we can't ignore the new reality that we ourselves find ourselves in. And I just love this graffiti about we will be back soon, be safe, be kind. And the world does need more kindness and more generosity, and we can't ignore the new reality. So if you want to get that trends report that I was mentioning earlier, pop open a fresh tab. I put this on a special link. It's giftfromdavid.com. That's about the economic outlook, the business outlook, the optimism, the employment numbers, kind of the coronavirus trends in the business world, not just in the meetings world, because the meetings world, of course, reflects the business world, not the other way around. So that's all those charts and graphs I showed you earlier with the trend lines going up and down and positive and predictions and do you feel safe with this, that, and the other thing. Pop over to giftfromdavid.com. I think Sam's going to pop that into the chat window for you so you have a clickable link. Giftfromdavid.com. I want you to look at that. Not now, but after we're done here, and look at the trends, look at the opportunities, look at the obstacles, look at the landscape shift that they talk about in this report from MPI, and I think you will get some aha moments and some real light bulb moments about how you can pivot and flex your services, your offers, and your programs. So that's online at giftfromdavid.com. That's absolutely free. Just download it from there. I made a shortcut link so you can access it quickly. Giftfromdavid.com. And that's where all of these things come from that I was mentioning. We showed this slide earlier, current employment trends, full-time, part-time, contract, etc. Okay, so here is how to start shifting into the now and to really go from being a nice to have to being a have to have in the current environment. Whatever your topic, whatever your expertise, whatever the title of your program, services, packages, etc., add the following phrases. So let's say you're a leadership consultant. Leadership in a recession. Let's say that you're a career change or a job search consultant, right? How to get a job when no one's hiring. Let's say you're doing innovation, right? Innovation during tough times. Just plug in whatever your topic is in a crisis, through a downturn, when nothing is certain. And one of my favorites is what now? So leadership for nurse managers, what now? Right? Team building in the construction industry, what now? So what now has an immediate sense of, oh my gosh, this is torn from the headlines, this is current, this person knows what I'm going through right now, and they can probably fix it. So use, and you can again screenshot this, take a screenshot here, change your titles and brands and services and programs so they speak to your prospect's current condition. So in a recession, when no one's hiring, during tough times, in a crisis, through a downturn, when nothing is certain, and what now is my favorite because it's the most flexible and the most versatile. Here's some sales language I want you to take away. Focus, because our clients are, deer in the headlights, paralyzed. Oh my God, everyone's virtual, everyone's remote. I got stuck in Wonderland here. What's happening? Focus on the risks of not addressing their mission critical issues. Focus on the risks of sitting this one out. Focus on the risks of doing nothing while the business world and their team and their boss and their customer base and their marketplace and everything else is shifting, not only shifting, but possibly in flux or possibly in turmoil. So focus your sales language on the risks of not addressing their mission critical issues. Reposition your offerings to address those exact issues and outcomes, and use so that language. So that is an automatic bridge to an outcome, so that you sell more, so that you upsell, so that your leaders stick around longer, so that you increase retention, so that you reduce your recruiting costs, so that your customer lifetime value goes up. Tie what you do to the so that outcomes that they want to create. And then the third thing is to create urgency around the hair on fire priorities they already have by using language like before it's too late. Before it's too late has an ominous impending doom sensation to it that has built-in urgency. If you can do a rapid results program and you can add in the next 30 days, obviously they want quick results, they want low-hanging fruit, they want quick wins. And then of course another phrase is right now. So how to do X right now. I'll give you some examples of each one of these coming up here. But these three mantras for your sales language, super, super important. Here are the examples. Ignoring X right now when everyone is remote can decrease Y even more, right? So this would be on your sales letter. This would be on your web page. This would be in an email that goes out to a specific prospect. Number two, so that, and these are a whole bunch of so that phrases that you can use wherever they make sense. so that you protect, so that you extend, so that you preserve, so that you safeguard, so that you reduce risk, so that you reduce costs, so that you avoid problem X, right? So people want to protect and extend and preserve and safeguard. If they're in risk aversion mode, these are risk aversion phrases. So you can speak to that in your marketing copy and your sales language. And then if your sole focus is blank, right? So let's say we talk to some prospects, they say, oh, you know, Susan, I'd love to talk to you, but our sole focus right now is this other problem. Hey, Henry, I'd love to bring you in for some consulting work, but right now our number one priority is this other thing over here. When you start to hear that from multiple buyers, you need to change your language and say this solves that problem. If your sole focus is that thing, if your number one priority is this other thing, when X is all you care about, if Y is making you crazy right now, we should talk. So put yourself in the current moment with phrases and language that increase the urgency and put you in the must-have category, not just the nice-to-have category. And for folks that are doing any sort of training or speaking or presenting of any kind, I'm going to encourage you that building a home studio only commoditizes you as yet another virtual presenter. And what you really want to start working on is start building a remote business that wins on value, deep expertise, and hyper relevance to what your clients want right now, which is what we just finished talking about. So don't just build a home studio and think, okay, I can do the same old crap in the same old way, except now we're doing it on Zoom, because that is going to instantly commoditize you. If you were competing for real stages, now you're competing for Zoom screens, and you're no better off than you were before. So that is not the path to success. This, however, is the path to success. This was from a couple of weeks ago now. Our client, Jen Kronberger, because remember, it's COVID crazy time. No one's spending money. No one's bringing in consultants. No one's bringing in experts. She says, just close the 6-figure deal with the hospital. Done. And the confidence you all gave me yesterday made me remember who I am on the call. And then they were the ones that said, with the option to renew it, please. So this is happening right now during COVID crazy time, because Jen was able to make these shifts that we're talking about. The urgency, the relevance, the contrarian language. In fact, one of the calls, I'll tell you about the phone call that she had that closed this deal. At first they said, you know what, we're going to put this off until the spring. And she stopped and she stood her ground and she said to the client, to the prospect, you know, I really don't think you can afford to do that. And then stopped talking. She just let it sit. I really don't think you can afford to do that. And the person said, you know what, Jen? It was like a 30-second pause, one of these big, endless, seemingly endless pauses. And the prospect said, Jen, you know what? You're right. Our people need this right now. In fact, our people could probably use this a month ago. I'm not going to put it off. Let's get started. And signed the 6-figure consulting deal with this hospital and healthcare system. So if you don't believe in your value, if you don't believe in your relevance, if you don't believe in your now more than ever value prop, why should they? Why should they? So you believe it so that they can believe it. And there are no rules, my friends. Here's the great news in this kind of crazy pandemic time. There are no rules. You set the rules. This is one of my favorite Facebook posts of my own that I put out there. It was by far the most shared and the most commented on. And it's about why and how we cave on speaking fees. Because here's all the excuses typically that, oh, we're a nonprofit. We're an association. We're government. We're a big group, small group. It's a local group. You don't need to travel. We're staying in a very nice hotel. It's a crappy hotel. Don't worry, you get good exposure. No one else is getting paid. Hey, you can sell your books. Don't worry, you'll get leads. How about just 45 minutes or any other BS excuse? Notice the fee does not change. The fee is the fee is the fee. Now, this got 614 likes, and it was shared 125 times. So by far, this is the David Newman social media greatest hits. This is the #1 post I've ever done because it says you are in charge of your fees. You are in charge of your fees. You are in charge of your value. And it is not up to you to cave on price or to dictate your fees based on their budget. Right? So find better clients that have bigger problems they will be able to bring you in at whatever fee you choose to charge. And the risk at that level is being seen as too cheap. Because if you're too cheap, then they start wondering, well, wait a second, how good can this person really be? So here's the value chain, my friends. When you help more people, you put more value into the marketplace, you will have a greater impact, you will create more change, you will help more people and serve more people, and thus, in the third corner here in the lower right, yes, you will profit, you will earn more. I wouldn't focus on earning more and then hope the rest take care of themselves. That's the last place I would look. That's the third place. I would look at increasing your value, helping more people, increasing your impact, causing more and better change, and the profit will take care of itself. The profit and you being able to support, charge, quote, and get premium fees will take care of itself. Now, I promised you some word-for-word language. So when you hear your fee is too high, I guarantee you 3 problems it's not. It's not your fee, it's not your program, and it's not their budget. You need to ask about money, ask about financial metrics early and often. Ask about where they are and where they want to go. Because if you use their numbers, prospects do not argue with their own numbers. Prospects do not argue with their own data. So you extract the numbers that are important to them and then use bridging language. So if they say, hey, we're a $2 billion company now, our CEO wants us to be a $3 billion company in the next 2 years. Your program, whatever it's about, you say, well, so we're building a bridge to that $3 billion company. If you're dealing with employee culture or retention, and they want to get their retention down to 15%, because right now it's 30%, it's outrageously high, they say, so we're on the road to getting you down to that 15%, number, that 15% turnover number, down from 30. If they want to, increase the average sale to $25,000 and the average sale right now is only 12, you say we're moving the needle towards increasing that average sale to $25,000. So by using these physical metaphors, we're building a bridge to, we're on the road to getting you, we're moving the needle towards, you become the conduit, you become the connector between where they are and where they want to go. So you are literally the bridge that they need to cross over and work with to get that outcome. Now, Deb Rubin is in our program, and she sent me an email whose subject line is BAM. You can see the date on this. It's August 24th of this year, more than 5 weeks ago. She says, boom, just won a 90K consulting project. And I said, woohoo, was this the new one where we were kicking around the visual proposal pieces? She says, yes, phase 1 as fast as possible. So again, in the middle of COVID crazy, just 5 weeks ago, 90K consulting project for a client in the equipment financing industry. So this can happen right now. And then, by the way, a couple weeks prior, she closed a $30,000 virtual workshop series for a different client. I love these little hashtags that she put on her note: do it marketing, make awesome happen. And so she's having success after success after success, even in this pandemic when other consultants are hiding under their desk and going, oh, woe is me, I'm waiting for this thing to blow over. Deb is closing deals, adding value, increasing her impact, and profiting, as you see here. So here's the exact scripting once you do the bridging language the right way. For the program that we just talked about, that will improve, boost, create, generate, reduce, slash, solve, fix, all the good things go up, all the bad things go down, and give your folks the exact strategies, mindset, and skill set to move the needle on the results you said were the most important to you and the team, the investment is only $25,000. The investment is only $15,000. The investment is only $90,000, whatever the number is. But because you're dealing in value, impact, results, and outcomes, the fee is now tiny compared to the value and the impact of the outcome that you are going to deliver. And when you use that bridging language, when you use that sales scripting that we talked about, you are living the mantra of solve bigger problems, get bigger checks. So here's another truth bomb in case you've got some colleagues and friends in the consulting or the expert industry. Please stop nickel and diming your own fees, cutting prices because everyone else is doing it, right? Mom, he started it. Everyone else is doing it. If your friend jumped off a bridge, would you follow them? You've heard that whole parental cartoon soundtrack. What is this, third grade? Just because your buddy over there is cutting their fees left and right doesn't mean that you should too. Live by the mantra, solve bigger problems, get bigger checks. And there's just a bunch of third graders in case you want to see what they look like. Because everyone else is doing it is not a good rationale. You be the person who doesn't do it. You be the person that charges premium fees for premium outcomes and starts moving your business upstream instead of crashing and burning with the folks that are doing unasked for discounts and price cuts. So you got to make the switch, my friends. You're not a professional consultant or copywriter or coach or fill in the blank. You're not a professional blank. You're a professional problem solver. And let me take a quick drink here and then we will continue. So please reframe what you do as a professional problem solver and everything will become easier. Another COVID-19 success story, Stefan, who's up in Canada, that's why he's got that sexy French name, consulting project, first payment of $25,000. Now, I got to admit, that's 25,000 Canadian, so don't get excited. That is Canadian money, not real money, Canadian money. In American dollars, it's $19,000, 960. So, still better than a sharp stick in the eye, but I wouldn't want to mislead anyone thinking that's 25,000 American dollars. It is 19,000 American dollars, and this was, again, a few weeks ago in the middle of COVID crazy time. So it's time to kill some of these self-limitations, self-limiting beliefs and actions and goals and fees. And it's time to stop acting small, treading water, and getting too comfortable by doing okay. What does the breakthrough look like? The breakthrough looks like, imagine if it were easy, intense focus and intelligent action on the items we talked about today. And stop being so damn comfortable, right? Arrogance and complacency and being willing to wait it out and not being worried and I'm doing okay. That kind of thinking is going to be killing your business. I'm going to invite you and encourage you to think big and act bigger. Fully engage in what's possible and that you can have your business exactly the way you want it. Now, the operative questions here, if something that we talked about today is missing, I would encourage you to add it. If something we talked about here today is kind of messy and sloppy, I would encourage you to look at it and fix it. If something is misaligned, meaning it's there, but it's not quite clicking into the puzzle the right way, pivot it, flex it, and shift it. And if you're not sure how to do that, I'm going to invite you here in the next couple of minutes to do it with me for the next 90 days, and we can help you do it together. And then we'll get to our big Q&A, and I will stay until the end and answer every single question about all of what we talked about today. So your success is our success, and I know what it's like to struggle and flail. And I mentioned to you when I started my business, I hit every brick wall and every dead end that there was. And I now know what it's like to succeed, and I can tell you that succeeding is more fun because you have expertise that the world needs right now, probably more than ever. And your expert business needs a solid foundation, all the things we talked about today: messaging, packaging, positioning, business model, service menu, pricing and fees, and how to get a steady stream of leads and clients and cash in the door. Good month, bad month, every month, even out the crazy up and down roller coaster. The best way to do that is to work with me and the team for the next 90 days with our Expert Profit Formula mentoring program. This is a complete step-by-step system, takes you by the hand, as in step 1, step 2, step 3, do this, do that, do this next thing. And it's everything that you need to know and do to grow your expert-based business. There is no ambiguity, there is no confusion. It is filled with templates, tools, scripts, models, and exactly how-to information. And it's got coaching from me and the team built in. So coaching, accountability, and support built in to help you reach your goals, meaning that you've got two options. There's the do-it-yourself option with this crazy jalopy here on the left, and there's the Expert Profit Formula, understanding there's many paths up the mountain. If you had a choice of which one of these cars to get into, I'm going to choose the beautiful BMW M6 convertible because I will get to the top of the mountain probably faster, safer, easier, and having a lot more fun than in this crazy jalopy here on the left. So Expert Profit Formula is an online portal, comes with coaching, comes with a community, comes with me, comes with support, and comes with structure, training and mentoring. It's got a full 4-module step-by-step digital course that you can consume 24/7 with 26 short, concise to the point video lessons. You can log in anytime. You can take it mobile, iPad, iPhone, mobile device of any kind. Self-paced, everything is unlocked right at the beginning. You don't need to wait. There's no drip. You can Netflix it. You can binge watch it. Nothing is assumed. Nothing is left out. It's got the content and the coaching and the support community to give you 100% support. So let's talk about the money part. Many of you have taken other types of programs before. You're trying to figure it out on your own, scratching your head. You could try and figure it out on your own and spend thousands upon thousands or hire a consultant for 15, 20, 25K. For my private clients, I've charged $1,000 an hour or $15,000 for 90 days, and I couldn't keep up, so I turned that off. I no longer offer that service. So the question is, what are you going to be investing? Well, obviously, it's not $15,000. It's not even $1,000 an hour. It's $2,000 if you buy it online on the website. There's a sales page out there. But because you're a friend of Bob Bly, we're going to cut that in half. So you're going to get the entire system and 90 days of coaching, VIP special on this masterclass when you go to getepf.com. That's the page, GetEPF for Expert Profit Formula. GetEPF.com. The coupon code is BOB, of course, for Bob Bly, and that is going to cut it down from the $19.97 that it is every day to $9.97 for you during this webinar right now as we're talking and as we go into the Q&A. All of this is active and open for you when you go to getepf.com and insert the coupon code BOB. And I'll just walk through what you're getting here very quickly, then we'll hop right into our Q&A. So I mentioned the video training, 26 step-by-step skill building modules. There's a monthly call with me where I will personally help you and look at what you have going on, do this next action steps. This is a group call, of course, monthly mastermind group call with me. And again, I'm just going to leave that URL here on the screen for you, getepf.com, and the coupon code is BOB. The next thing is private coaching with our amazing team. Sarah and Ashley and Stephanie are our amazing coaches. You get a monthly private coaching session for 3 months to get you on track, keep you on track. We have a very active clients-only Facebook community. That, again, is open 24/7. I'm in there reviewing things, critiquing things, answering questions. Very active community of your coaches and your peers. And there's also one deeply discounted ticket to our next live boot camp called Expert Profit Formula Live. So as an Expert Profit Formula client, that's a $997 ticket. You are getting it for $97. So it's literally 90% off that 3-day event. And it's not $97 a day, it's $97 for all 3 days. It's kind of crazy. And we charge, outside people $1,000 to come to that. We also have an expert marketing library that's an ever-growing library of additional trainings, additional tools, additional things that I record that I think will be helpful to having you grow your professional services business and your impact and your income. And the 4 key areas that we mentioned earlier are all included in this program. So you will get exactly what you do, finally feel comfortable knowing who you serve and what problems you solve, niche, target market, positioning, packaging, service model, revenue model, prospecting, lead generation, where and how to get premium clients at premium fees, and building that integrated product suite that we talked about so that you can always upsell, cross-sell, and deepen your relationship with clients who love you and whom you love doing business with. So that's right now at getepf.com. Coupon code is BOB. I'll walk you through how that works in a sec, and then we're ready for our Q&A. So you get lifetime access to the full training, 26 step-by-step video modules, every template, every tool, every script, 90 days of active coaching with me and the team, plus these fast action VIP bonuses. When you go to getepf.com, coupon code is Bob. The first is a 4-pay option. Ordinarily, this is 4-pay at $597. When you put in the coupon code Bob at getepf.com, that goes down to 4 payments of $297. So you can do a 4-pay. What that means is you can get started today for $297, and then 3 additional monthly payments, $297, $297, $297, as you start to generate revenue and as the program starts to pay for itself. The bonuses, you get our Platform Builder video series, how to build your platform, get more traffic, leads, and sales. So if you want some help with building your platform and building your visibility with inbound leads, you're getting that complete training. You're also getting our Speaker Profit Blueprint course to help you win more stages, get more virtual speaking gigs, have more fun, make more money, use those virtual speaking and training opportunities as both a revenue generator and a lead generator. You're getting our Private Coaching Success course. Private one-on-one coaching is your fastest path to cash. So getting a private coaching client, someone who's going to pay you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a coaching package is your #1 fast cash generator. And then number 4 is we're also going to do a second discounted ticket to our live Expert Profit Formula Live event, where you're going to join like-minded business owners. Ordinarily, this is in person. The next one is in January. It's going to be virtual until the craziness clears. We're going to do these virtual, and when things get back to some semblance of face-to-face, we'll probably go back to doing these face-to-face. But that's a second discounted ticket to the Expert Profit Formula Live live event, which is going to be virtual in January. You also get a 100% guarantee. So 30 days, we're going to invite you to come in, 100% money back guarantee. You are totally covered. I got your back. If you do the work and if you make the decisions in modules 1 through 4, submit your work to us, and you don't feel amazing about your results, we'll give you a 100% refund. And that's when you go to getepf.com, coupon code is Bob. Taken all together between the program and the bonuses, it's $11,297 of value. You're getting the full course with lifetime access, 90 days of monthly group and private coaching with me, 3 private one-on-one coaching calls with the team, the Facebook community for questions, accountability, and idea sharing, critiques, reviews, questions, all that good stuff. You literally have nothing to lose. All the risk is on me with your 30-day 100% money back guarantee. So go to getepf.com. That's the URL. It looks like this page that I have on the screen for you here. You're going to scroll down. You're going to put in the coupon code Bob. Do not forget this part. It's really, really important. So put in Bob, then hit the apply button. And that's where your discount, because of the amazing Bob Bly, is going to kick in. When you come down here, you're going to confirm that your coupon code kicked in. It's going to say $1,000 off. The total is $997. If you do the 4-pay, you'll see it goes down to 4-pay of $297. And only when you've confirmed that's the right amount, then you click on Enroll Now. So it's either a single pay of $997 or a 4-pay of $297. And then final couple of success stories here as you're going over there to getepf.com. Use the coupon code Bob. Karen Batesville came through our program. She said, I had no problem getting booked. I had a problem getting paid. Take it from someone who tried to do it on the cheap, thought I could read the books and do it myself. All you're going to do is waste your time if you're not willing to invest a small amount of money that you'll get back many times over. I feel great about my results so far. Mid-career consultant like Lisa Hain, within my first 2 weeks, I used your material to close a client for $5,000. I used your exact coaching and tools to sway the client to choose me when their board voted today. I now know how to do this with every prospect going forward. And Lisa, again, is a corporate culture expert. Her website is Culture Inside Out. Finally, my friend Alan Zimmerman came through the program. A lot of people talk a good marketing game, but nobody does it with the pizzazz and brilliance like David Newman. I'm not sure about pizzazz, but I'll take brilliance, I guess. He makes marketing a joy instead of a pain, and I love the bottom line results of David's work. And Alan's a very successful, very advanced speaker. He's in the National Speakers Association, Speaker Hall of Fame. So whether you're brand new, whether you are a seasoned pro, this program will help you get results. When you go to getepf.com, you're going to get a payment confirmation email. I will see that you're signed up, which is awesome. You'll be added to the EPF list of cool people, and we do have an EPF list of cool people. You will get the course login. You can start this afternoon. You will get the Facebook group invitation and a beautiful welcome email with all of the details. So at this point, we're ready for our Q&A. Here's what to do right now. Pop over to getepf.com during our Q&A. Coupon code is Bob. For pay of $297. If you want to do it that way, save a couple $100, do the single pay of $997. You're getting 90 days of hands-on mentoring with me and the team with the exact step-by-step proven system on growing your expert business. The 4 bonuses again: the platform builder to help you get leads, speaker profit blueprint to help you find virtual stages and virtual training, private coaching success, which is your fastest path to cash to bring in a couple of private coaching one-on-one clients. And bonus number 4 is 90% off our next live event. Plus you get to bring a guest, bring a friend. All of this protected by our 30-day 100%. You do the work and you'll be thrilled, money back guarantee. So at this point, let me throw it back to my friend Bob Bly, and we're going to open up for Q&A in the question box. Bob, closing thoughts, closing comments, anything that you want to share?
There was so much packed into this, and I took 3 pages of notes, but the thing that stood out for me, and other people may have other points that have more impact, your idea that fees are not dependent on budget. In my field, copywriting, that's what we are taught. You find out what the client's budget is and make sure your fee is within that. And you have the brilliant method, and it is brilliant. It should be obvious, but it isn't. You know, if the budget is big enough, don't try to haggle with the client. Get other clients who have much bigger budgets and to whom your fee, they perceive your fee as a drop in the bucket compared to the value they'll get out of what you do for them.
Amen. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I love that. Well, let's throw it open for some questions. I think we had some questions come in earlier, and I apologize because things were flying fast and furious in the question box. If you asked a question earlier, feel free to retype it, and we will just kind of go in the order that they are submitted. Let's see. We've got a question here. I'm a copywriter reinventing herself as an editor, so a new business model. How does this apply to me? Well, I think everyone in the professional services field, and this is Joyce's question, I think. So Joyce, everyone in the professional services field is an expert first and a service provider second. So everything around, what kind of editor, what kind of books or what kind of material do you want to edit for what kind of clients? There's cheap stuff, medium stuff, expensive stuff, and then super premium, ultra kinds of things. So positioning and packaging and messaging and targeting and outreach, and what do you say and what do you send at every step of that sales and business development process. I think the Expert Profit Formula program would be great for you because it walks you through all of these different decisions, all of these different factors and variables so that you come out of this positioned, packaged, and ready to penetrate a certain target market, right? We talked about solve bigger problems, get bigger checks, and articulating, hey, I'm not just an editor. I'm not just a great editor, right? Remember the slide we talked about before. You're not a professional editor. You're a professional problem solver. So as a professional problem solver, what's the value, the impact, the results, the outcomes, and the emotional payoffs of having a fantastic editor in your back pocket or in your company's back pocket? And then you can charge accordingly, right? Then you can charge accordingly. If you don't do it that way, Joyce, then, editor, gosh, people are making all kinds of bad choices. They're going up to Upwork. They're, saying, hey, can I get this done on Fiverr? And you are completely on the opposite end of that spectrum. But you have to make it clear to your prospects and your clients that this is the ultimate opposite end of the spectrum. So Joyce, I think the program would be great for you, would help you with all of those things, the positioning, the packaging, the messaging, the outcome language, the prospecting, the outreach, really everything that you need from initial contact through signed contract. That's what's in Expert Profit Formula. So if you want to pop over, it's getepf.com. Don't forget the coupon code Bob to get the special discount from the webinar right now. How much content is there in the course portal? Fantastic question. I think this is Michael. Here's the deal. I always like quoting Albert Einstein on this one. Albert Einstein said, things should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. So I mentioned there's 26 modules. These modules are very, very concise, very, very short. They are between 7 and 11 minutes each. So there's 26 of them. I'll let you do the math on that. It's about 4 hours of content total, but everything is action oriented. So this is not a learning program, it's a doing program. So there are going to be the templates, the tools, the scripts that accompany each module. It's going to have you make decisions. It's going to have you take action on those decisions. It's going to have you do some marketplace vetting and validating to make sure that what you're doing is what your prospects and clients and customers want to buy. And then action step, action step, action step. So it's a learning and doing in tandem type of program. So there is not a lot of content. You know, this is 20 years of me removing the non-essential content that you do not need. You know, and I'm a huge buyer of other programs, you know, Facebook ads this and video that, and I'm always buying programs on various different things. I noticed that there are two kinds of programs. And as I was building Expert Profit Formula, this was very much foremost in my mind. There are programs that are gigantic and unconsumable that have like 500 videos and 3,000 pages of PDFs and endless audio downloads, right? When that guru or that mentor says, hey, you know, did you finish the program? Most clients say no, because your program is unfinishable. There's no way I could wade through all that crazy content. And when their clients don't get results, they point to say, well, you didn't finish the program. So I worked really hard to make this as concise and tight and actionable and implementation focused. So all of your coaching calls, for example, are going to be guided implementation calls. All of the action planning is going to be aimed towards a specific result. We had a sales contest. We just finished actually a sales contest inside the group where we gamified this a little bit and had some fun with people. And you saw some of the results. $25,000 contract, $30,000 deal, $18,000 training day. Someone had a $15,000 month for the very first time ever in their business. Someone else had all kinds of training contracts come in for $8,000, $9,000. They'd never charged more than $3,000 or $4,000 before. So part of it's the mindset reset, but part of it is also the skill set and the tool set that you develop by going through the program and working with me and our coaching team. So it is just enough, just in time to make you successful and get you some results. Charlotte says, can I talk with someone over the phone if I have questions after the webinar is over? What a fantastic question. The answer is yes. So our COO, his name is Charlie Posnack. He's my number 2. The URL is Call with Charlie. Charlotte, I'm so glad you asked this. Folks are coming in and I see the registrations. That's awesome. If you do need to talk to a human being, just to hold your hand or answer any remaining questions, hey, is this right for me? You know, what's in it? How does it work? Whatever you want to talk to a human being, Charlie is the guy to call. Sam, would you put the Call with Charlie? Just put the Call with Charlie link in there to book with Charlie Posnack, who's our COO. And he would be happy to talk to you, Charlotte, and answer any remaining questions that you have. Let's see, what else? How much time? Wow, what a great question. How much time will this program take? So I told you how long it is, but this is a great question. How long will it take me to do the work? How much should I allocate to do the work? Short answer is 3 to 4 hours per week. Literally 3 to 4 hours per week, a little bit less than an hour a day. Take the training, do the action step, hop in the Facebook group, do what you need to do, download the template, the tool, the script that goes with that, implement, take action, go to the next step. So this is not going to take you like, oh my God, it's going to be a full-time job just to do this program. If you can allocate 3 to 4 hours per week, and by the way, this is not 3 to 4 hours of learning time. This is 3 to 4 hours of doing time and application time. And this is not extra work or homework. This is the work of the work you should be doing anyway. And this is the work of the work that you should have been doing all along to get clients, generate leads, open doors, open conversations, and talk to high probability prospects that you would like to invite to do business with you. So great question. There is one-on-one time with a coach. Yes, there is. Are they allocated to me? Will I always speak with just them, or could it be a different coach month to month? Great question. No. So we are not doing the coach merry-go-round. You are going to get assigned one of our amazing coaches, and you are going to stick with that person because that person is going to track your progress, keep you accountable, get to know you, get to know your business. I think this question is also from Mark here. So it is going to be a one-on-one relationship with someone on the team. Obviously, I'm going to be in there. I'm in the mix as well for our group trainings and our group, our Facebook group and the monthly calls and so forth. But Mark, we are not doing the merry-go-round coach of the moment. So if you get Ashley, for example, Ashley's going to be your coach. She's awesome. If you get Stephanie is going to be your coach during the duration of the program. And you're going to stick with Stephanie, and they're going to get to know your business. And there's a whole intake process. There's a initial kind of kickoff call, and then there's the monthly check-ins and accountability, and some other ways that you can communicate with them. So you are getting a dedicated person to work with you and to to pop in questions, obstacles, stumbling blocks, and so forth. So once again, it's getepf.com. Coupon code is Bob. I've got one or two more questions in the queue, but feel free to ask more questions, and we'll stay here for another few minutes here and answer everyone's question. Another question is, what if I'm not sure about my niche or my target market? Well, if we only worked with people that were sure of their niche and their target market, we would have no clients. So part of the clarification process, part of the decision-making process is evaluating and vetting and validating. Do I have the right offer for the right audience at the right price point? And you're going to be doing a listening campaign, and you are going to be doing a vetting and validating campaign, talking to actual buyers about their actual problems. And this is going to help you reverse engineer your program so that you don't create the program and then see who wants to buy it. You first create the program that people want to buy, and then you offer it to them. So it is not a consultant-centric or a seller-centric process. It is a market-centric and buyer-centric process. So we are going to make sure that you're not barking up the wrong tree. We're going to make sure that you are not wasting your time spinning your wheels or, flying a flag that nobody's willing to salute. So there's definitely a vetting and validating process that's going to help you with those decisions about niche, target market, messaging, packaging, etc. You do not need to have anything decided. You might remember earlier, I said nothing is assumed and nothing is left out. So we don't assume that you've got a great business model. We don't assume that you've got a crystal clear target market. Most of our people don't coming in, and most of our people do when they're done. We're not leaving anything out. So there's no assumptions, there's no gaps, there's nothing that's going to fall between the cracks. This is the entire soup to nuts A to Z program to launch or relaunch your expert-based business in this new now, in this current turmoil and upside down and craziness. So again, it's getepf.com. Coupon code is Bob. And we've got about 1 minute left here. Any other questions? Anything else that we can answer for folks here in our last little bit of time. This has been so great. Just as we're wrapping up here, if there's more questions, please pop them in the question box. But I want to personally thank you, Bob. This was great. I know you always bring great people onto these calls. You have a massively loyal following, and I appreciate you sharing this learning with them.
And I appreciate your letting me participate. To me, this is game-changing information, and I'm going to study it for quite a while and carefully after we end this call.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. All right, team. Well, if there are no more questions, we're going to end up right on the dot here at 30 minutes past the hour. We scheduled 90 minutes for this fabulous celebration of ideas. And Bob, I appreciate you, Sam, the rest of our team who were here, Charlie, etc. And we will send out some follow-up information for you, and we will see everyone soon. Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone.